Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen. And welcome to the extraordinary council meeting on Tuesday, 11th of March. Okay, 56024. Apologies for absence, please, Karen.
Apologies have been received from councillors A. Blackburn, D. Blackburn, M. Brindle, Jefferson, T. Jeremy, M. McDonald, Cambridge, A. Mitchell, B. Ross Smith, S. Terry, and Old.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else know of any more? Any 56224? Oh, sorry, 56124. To agree to confirm the minutes of the ceremonial full council held on the 25th of February. All agree? Yeah. Thank you very much. 56324. GWS Stanleyport and Dermond, Deputy Town Clerk.
Thank you very much. In your pack, there were two documents. The first document is some background information to help the council understand why the board has asked for the resolution, and the second document is the actual resolution itself. What the clerk of the GW Stanleyport charity has done has spoken to the Charities Commission to ask for a drawdown of that endowment, and has got not that the Charities Commission give you word by word, but has given an indication of what information is required. We provided that in the resolution, and just to help the council and to help ourselves and to provide additional information should the Charities Commission want it, we've done a background paper, which is the very first paper in terms of your documentation. I don't want to read the document because I'm sure you've all had a chance to do it, but really what the document does is set up where we are. There's a couple of elements. The charity has not been financially sustainable for a long period of time. All the cash flow has been eroded. There is the will that requires the stipulations within the will that we haven't complied with since the charity was set up, and we actually need cash flow to do a couple of things: settle the liabilities, to look at making the building safe because we've got fire risk issues just as we have in this particular building, and to look at strategy as to how do we make the GW Stanleyport Trust viable going forward. The endowment has essentially risen from investments that were made many years ago. To give you an example, the original cost of those investments was I think 130 something thousand. Those investments have grown up to be nearly 750 to 800,000 pounds, and that's really what the motivation is. The board has taken a number of steps because obviously we have to be very careful if we rush to the Charities Commission. Question that they're going to ask is, well, will you be back in 2 years? Will you be back in 5 years? Will you be back in 7 years? And the background document really sets up what the board has done. It's looked at the current things. We've changed all the governance. Looked at how do we, the strategies. But what we try to do is put the charity on a sound footing so that over time it actually becomes self-sustainable and can actually meet the stipulations of the will, etc. We have then taken that information that I've talked about and actually put it into a resolution, and it would just be a matter for the council to discuss that resolution through the mayor and then decide whether to support it or not.
Thank you, Alan. Is there any questions, please? Councillor Ladd?
More comment really. Unless we go ahead with the drawdown on the endowment, the trust is going to sort of fall apart. It may do anyway, and there are conversations to be had down the line about what we do at the moment. I think it's unanimous among the board members that that's exactly what we need to do. Thank you.
Councillor Peters?
I was asked the question. The board has actually spoken about this, have they? And and they feel it's all right. I mean, I've got no problem with it. I think it's quite obvious that something has to be done. But until now, I haven't really known what the board's opinion is as well. And as long as they're supporting it, I think we, as trustees, need to protect the charity. So,
Councillor Stewart.
Yeah, I was going to say, myself and Stuart were the last, I can't remember, sorry, we were at the last Stonyforth Trust. I think you were on holiday, weren't you? The most recent one. Yeah, just for the three who are here, not that I want to be lying, just vote because we said it, but as the people on the board felt it's the best way forward. We've been submitting things in the background to Hillary to look at how we go, the Stonyforth clerk, to look at the future of Stonyforth, but in the immediate meantime, this is the time. We as the board concur with this one.
yeah.
That's all right.
Yes, Mayor. Yes, in answer to Councillor Peace's question, the board is unanimous in this proposal. It is the only way forward at this point in time. We don't have any other assets other than the collection, the house and the endowment, and to actually free up some cash from that to settle any immediate liabilities is the only way we can go forward. And as Councillor Stewart said, there are moves afoot to look at the way forward and how that can be addressed. But at this moment in time, it seems to be the only way we can go forward by settling our liabilities this way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I was at the meeting, I thought you had a really full and frank discussion with lots of input from independents as well as the council members. And the action we're taking, I hope to take, does seem to be the only sensible way. Okay, can we propose on it? We have a proposal in a second of Councillor Stewart propose, second of Councillor White.
So the resolution would please give the mayor the permission to sign the certificate of passing.
I want all the checks and that. Okay, so I have your permission to sign. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, I don't need to read out the exclusion of press and public. Okay. 56524 open.
Can I keep recording? I will delete the recording straight after the meeting.
So now, Alan, do we trust you?
Oh. Okay, thank you. 56520 open space management tenders to receive a report regarding the open space tenders. Decision required to agree the tenders and send them to full council for agreement. Go on that because Hazel's not here.
Sure. In terms of, I wasn't at the Community and Environmental Services meeting. What we've done is we've been, as an officer, we have been so scared of this particular moment when we had to go out and tender again for the services. Time has obviously crept up, and the reason why we've added this to this extraordinary meeting is because we need to let the contractors, the successful as well as the unsuccessful, know. We've put the paper that went to Community and Environmental Services in this agenda pack, and the recommendation of the Community and Environmental Services Committee was that top services be awarded this particular tender, and have recommended that to full council.
Any questions? Yes, Councillor Stewart.
Thank you. Thanks for your time on this, Alan. I think similar, I said along the lines, the full council about when we're looking at tender for something else. The contract that's gone out, have we taken that internally? We're very fortunate. We have now more staff than ever, I believe. Have we taken out as much possible to make it as cheap as possible? Because I believe now there is so much more we could do ourselves and internally, rather than the idea of just giving it all, just because it's for ease sake, just to give it all to the tender. Thank you.
You can, feel free.
What we did is our projections were that we could pay double the amount of money that we had previously. So before we went out to tender, we actually had a specific look at all the tasks. For example, we outsourced a lot of work at Castle Park. We brought that inside. The planting of baskets, we've paid for that. We at the moment, we're just contracting with a nursery to do that on our behalf. We will be watering the plants rather than having that outsourced. So what we've done is we've looked at everything. We've also been litter picking, for example, the play parks and things like that. So what we've done is we've looked at everything that's not significant, where we don't need a significant capital outlay. So if we want to cut the grass, for example, we have to buy quite expensive machinery to do that. And we just don't have the money at the moment and the capacity and the skilled staff to do that. But we have looked at how we can reduce it. And I think that reflects in the prices that we actually have. This is actually lower than we actually budgeted, and this is significantly lower than we're probably paying at the moment.
Councillor Jefferson? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for this, and apologies for going some ground. I just wanted to send a check as well. So subtotal, if we did it in piecemeal, is 32,000, and yet we're looking at paying 40. Is that how they understood those two figures correctly to go for one contractor? Make sure I'm reading the right lines.
If we went to everyone said, okay, you were cheaper on this particular task, you were cheaper on that particular task. The problem is we'd have such coordination problems with internally. So because we have expanded the team, but at the management level, we've just got our community and environmental services manager. We then have every time someone had a complaint, the play park hasn't been done, we'd have to go back, well, who's doing that play park, etc. So we just thought the economies of scale, and it would also, if you award someone a small amount of work, it may not be worth their while to do it. So,
Yeah, it starts with the final income together. We've got. Is there a way we could, potentially bundle half to Top Garden where they are the cheapest, and then Nurture have been the cheapest for 3 different ones? So maybe something like that. Because I just think I completely get that management. We opportunity cost here as well in terms of slack time. At the same time, can save a few £1,000s, and we know quite a lot of bills coming up in double ways. I feel like we would be prudent to try.
I can't speak more for the Community and Environmental Services Committee.
Ian? Oh, no, you don't. Oh, God, sorry. You're just about 10 minutes early.
Councillor Land?
Thank you. I suppose the question I'll be asked to sort of take Councillor Jefferson's point on a bit. I think what we have to ask ourselves, and you have to ask yourself perhaps, is it worth £5,000 a year to not to bundle it up? It's in the end, it's money. Do we make £5,000 a year in other ways by bundling it up rather than going for the piecemeal approach? I think that's what the key to investigate.
I'm not sure what questions were asked of Community Environmental Services, but at a management level, our conclusion was that it would be so much easier to hold someone to account and say, this hasn't been done. So it's either between our staff, which is really easy to aggregate, and a contractor. That was really our overall thinking.
Any chance of a figure on that?
I think the opportunity costs figure is far greater than 5,000.
Okay.
I would be fairly certain it is.
Okay.
Because it's at senior management time that all the issues will happen. Not. I can't. I wouldn't be able to expect one of the town team members to go sort it out. It would have to be at the level that we have. But we have so many challenges at the moment in terms of some of the other things that we're having to deal with.
Councillor Peters?
If we're putting all the work into one basket, basically one operative, and they're supplying their staff, I'd assume supplying their staff, their machinery, etc. Does that free our staff up to do other stuff outside of what normally be done?
I think what we've done is we've brought some of the work that we traditionally over many years had outsourced, from long before I joined the council. It's all been outsourced. So in order to get the savings that we have overall, we have kind of created a little bit more work for our staff. But the other opportunity, let me give you an example. At the moment, we are paying a significant amount of money to have coverage on the toilets on the weekend. If we employed another member of staff, we could actually use them to supplement the town team because there'd be sufficient work to do that. Up to this point, there wasn't. So it would have, the opportunity cost of doing that. But, virtually every week I pay the contractors who do the toilets over the weekend. That money could be better spent, and that far exceeds £5,000 in a year. When we had to use them to holiday cover, huge amounts. So by spending a little bit more money, we could actually save more. That's my thinking.
I'm thinking, Councillor Jefferson.
Could I just carry on this one more time as well? I feel that's thing is, but I assume we're to do everything. We've checked that they basically have the capacity. You're talking about it being lots of work. Is that going to causing us problems further down the line in a way? Has that been sort of evaluated, I guess?
One advantage that Top has is that the owner actually lives in Thetford, so they're aware of all. They see us every day, so that's the advantage that they have. Whereas if I used another company like ID Verdi, they're based in Coventry. They have teams all over the show, and so they shipping people from down the market. So at 7:30, they start work at down the market time. They get you at 9 o'clock. They then leave at 3 o'clock. So the advantage of having a local company is that they actually do know what Thetford is about, and that's really possibly influenced our decision making.
Yes, obviously there's a time management saving, but you also think there's as well. It's one that sole supplier.
We are fairly certain. And the nice thing is, if there is a performance issue, we do have other opportunities. So there's a whole list of organisations that we can actually go to supplement or to reassign the contract. So that's really the advantages that we have being done in this particular way, and ask for unbundled tenders.
Thanks.
Okay, any more questions? The proposal sector?
Yes, please.
Okay. That's what I'm doing. Oh, yeah. To agree the tender and send them to full council. Agreement. Proposer, please. Anyone there? Seconder? That's the biggest. All in favour? Anyone against? You abstaining? You didn't put your hand up.
He seconded it.
I seconded it.
It's all who's in control now. It's an age thing. Is that it? That's it.
Easy go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you in 10 minutes.
You can't go home yet.
Yeah.
I'd like to see people's hands go up. There you go.